For now, we'll go and create a new session and we'll record some guitar. As you can see, the instruments are listed, and we'll click choose and give the session a name. Okay, so I'm going to plug in my electric guitar. Make sure the input for my interface is selected. I'm using a fast track. Press track record enable. As you can see, I can set the metronome or click. And I'm going to press record and then press play. Okay, as I play, you can see the waveform starting to appear on the electric guitar track. And I've got a couple of effects applied. So I'm playing through a virtual guitar amp with some reverb. Okay, I'm just skipping on to the end. And now we're done. I'll press stop. Let's find some loops. Okay, so we go to the loops window here and look through the factory loops. 3 GB of loops shipped with the product. And I'm looking for a drum kit. So let's have a listen to a couple. Sounds pretty good. And I think that'll do as an intro fill. So if I drag that, it creates a new track. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit because it's quite a short loop. And you'll see that if I use the grabber tool, I can click and drag it to the start of my track. That's the drum loop that I want for the main part of the song, so I'm just going to drag that next to it. Now, using the trimmer tool, I can drag that loop out so it repeats many times and fill the rest of my song with it. I'll just close down the loops window now. And I'll just zoom out a little bit so I can see the whole of my song. If I click in the top right hand corner, as you see, it loops for as long as I need it to. Okay, that should do for now. I can always edit that later. Now I'm going to record some bass guitar, so I'm going to change the track there on audio 2 for bass guitar. I've chosen input 2 again so that I can record through my fast track. And I'm just going to adjust the level of the drum kit slightly and the level of the guitar. Click record, click play, and here we go with bass. In terms of selecting the correct input, there are only 2 inputs available on the fast track. Number 2 is the electric guitar setting. All that's in the hardware guide that comes with the interface. And that'll do for now, so we'll just stop it there. And I'll go and disarm the track. Okay, what we need to do now is create a new track because I'd like to add some vocal. So there's the new track dialog. I can choose virtual instruments or real instruments. So I'll create an audio track there, as you can see, for making recordings of real instruments. A new track has opened up and I'm going to give it a vocal setting, a male vocal. There we go, at the bottom. So it's added a compressor, an equalizer and reverb to make me sound good. The input is set to 1 because that's where my microphone is plugged in. And I've renamed the track vocal. I'll click track record enable, click record and play. And then when it gets to the right point, I'll start singing. And as you can hear, the compressor kicked in there. I've got a bit of EQ and reverb applied already.
And you think my shoes are made, but my feet walk back. My brand new suit is really made out of sack.
Same as before, click stop and take track enable off. Now I'm also going to switch off the count off. That metronome click sound that you could hear. The track sounds much better without it. Just boost the drums a bit. Take a little bit off the bass guitar and push the electric guitar up a little bit in terms of volume. A little bit more vocal there, I think. Okay, it's very easy. There isn't a separate mixer in this version of Pro Tools. Everything is done in this single screen. And I'm going to change the setting on the guitar here from clean to rock. Okay, I think I need a little bit more distortion, so I'm going to go to the guitar amp and turn up the punch and the drive. If I want to hear how it sounds without it, I can switch the effect on or off. Green is on. So let's have a quick look at automation. So this is all to do with changing effects or changing fader volume over time. Just like main Pro Tools, I can look at the automation track lanes and use the pencil tool to draw in changes. As you can see, I'm creating a little volume fade out on each of the tracks. Alternatively, I could go to the master track and change the volume there. As you can hear, there's a lovely fade out over time. Also, I can automate any of the effects that I may have added to a track. And if I'm not sure what automation is, I can use the built-in Learn About feature to find out more about it. The Learn About feature can be found on right-click menus and in dialogues. I'm going to listen to a part of the vocal track. If I control-click on play, the loop feature comes in, and I'm going to try a different kind of reverb. So large hall this time, and turn up the less more control there, so I can try out different effects. And if I'm not sure what any of these effects are, again I can right-click them, and it takes me to a web page explaining what these different effects are and what they do. I don't like that bass part there, so I'm going to highlight it with the selector tool and press delete on the keyboard to get rid of it. Likewise, there's quite a long introduction before the vocal starts, so I'm going to select that part and again press delete on the keyboard to get rid of it. Very easy way of editing. With the rulers, I can attach markers in different places. So I'm going to choose where the vocal comes in and give that a label, vocal start. See, it's added it to the ruler. Okay, so I can give myself useful cue points. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fiddle with the tempo because I'm not sure I like it that slow. So because each track already has elastic time enabled, I'll just increase the tempo of the whole song. Yeah, not bad. Let's see how it sounds a little bit slower as well. So I can find the sweet spot for the tempo just by dragging that tempo line up and down.
But my heels are high. The simple things you see are all
132, that sounds about right.
pretty young, but I'm just
Of course, if I've got a fiddly guitar part that I can only play slowly, I could always play it in slowly and then speed it up in Pro Tools. And I'm going to use the pencil tool to make the track slow down at the end.
but my feet walk back. My brand new suit is really made out of sand.
So you can hear the last part there sound a little, there were a few artifacts creeping in because I pushed it a little too far, but that'll do for now. So, exporting. From the file menu, I can choose to export as a WAV, CD quality, or as if I've got the MP3 option installed on an iLok, I can use that. And give it a name and save my finished mix.